Welcome. I'm so happy to see you. My name is Ms. Garcia, and I am going to be introducing you to my lesson plan for my first grade class today. So what we are going to be learning about is geometric shapes, basic shapes, squares, triangles, stars, um, making it simple for our kiddos. Remember, shapes are found everywhere. Everywhere that you look, you have something that is a special shape. For example, our windows in our house, squares, they're rectangle. My glasses, oval. You can do wheels on a bus, on a car. Shapes are everywhere. It's just learning to get the correct name for them is what we're trying to teach you guys today to do. So what I try to do is I try to make this PowerPoint as simple and as connected as possible. We're going to start by first our lesson plan. All I'm going to do is a small breakdown on how I want the objectives to be, how I'm expecting my students to understand what it is that I'm teaching them. I've also included some fun little videos that have little tests, examples, something just to get their attention. I also have a worksheet that we are going to be working with that it's going to help tighten everything that we've covered. And at the end, as an assessment, we're going to do an exit ticket that is going to tie our worksheet and everything, our shapes together. Also, at the end, I would love to come back and discuss a little bit about how you can do some changes to your lesson plan depending on what child you're working with, what if any limitations, accommodations they might have based on special education, being gifted, English not being the first language. Like you can tell English is not my first language, but that does not mean that we cannot learn. Okay, so now it's time to dive into this lesson. Let's see. So like I stated earlier, what we are trying to do is get our kiddos to connect shapes into the real world. For example, we want to reinforce what they have learned in kindergarten again, in pre-K, and even at home, especially a few years ago, when COVID hit real hard, a lot of our kids, this is the first time that they fully gone to school. A lot of them did not start right away. I try to get my lesson plans to stay within the guidelines of TEAC as much as possible. Like I stated earlier, the objective actually for this lesson is mostly to get my first graders to connect shapes, papers, 2D shapes into real life things around them. For example, you will have a rectangle and you can see it in a color box. You can have, like I said, glasses. My glasses, the lenses are oval. For another person, their lenses might be more of an octagon. So remember, my lesson plan, and it will have a type of an assessment or a exit ticket at the end. This is where my students are going to be able to show me what it is that they picked up from this lesson that we're practicing today. What did they learn from the video? What did they learn from the worksheet? What connections do they feel that they have made with shapes in regards to real life? We're going to go more into detail at the end, towards the exit ticket when we get there, okay? So at this point, before I even go into the video, I would go and ask my students questions. I want to know, kind of take a survey of what it is that they know or recall, or what it is that they're struggling in. For example, I will say, Harley, can you tell me what your favorite shape is? Do you know what a shape is? And depending on the child, she might say yes or no. Most of my kids, they love hearts, that shape. They love stars because most of their school or work, they get stickers. Most of the time they're stars. So those are some of the first shapes that they will discover. So after doing a little survey, back and forth questions with them, get a little dialogue started, I will go in and play this video. So at this point, I will pause the video and look at my students and ask the same question that they did. Be like, can anybody tell me what is a circle? Or with your hands, can you go around and show me what a circle looks like? Get them to interact with the video so they're just not sitting there looking at it and not being, participating. So at this point, I will do the same thing. I will pause the video and I will look at my kiddos and ask the same questions. How many squares, sorry, how many sides does a square has? Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, how many squares was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I would do the comparison to them. Like we learned earlier, is a circle and a square the same shape? And then I would ask him why or not and see if I get a response from them. Each side is the same length. So like you see, this is a great tool to use with my kiddos, especially because they will feel more connected with a cartoon character than they would just me talking to them about what the shape will be. So I like videos like this when I am speaking to them, but I also like to be able to pause, ask questions, get a dialogue back and forth where we are able to have a discussion at the same time. So they're not feeling overwhelmed or I just, it's not easy to keep the concentration of a kindergarten, sorry, kindergarten, a pre-K or a first grader. The higher it is, the longer, their attention span can be there for us, but you want to move not as quick as possible, but make it entertaining for them. So at this point, after we're done with this video, we will go ahead and continue the discussion, find out if we can make any more connections with in the room that we're in and what shapes we see. From our worksheet, we would actually go ahead and move into what it what the actual worksheet looks like. So like you see on the sheet, the worksheet is simple piece of paper. On one side, it has the actual names, octagon, trapezoid, stars, triangle. Some of them are easier for the kiddos to recognize because of the shapes, you know, hearts, ovals, stuff. Some of them are not. I'm not expecting them to know every single one of them, but at this point in first grade, I kind of want to see, and especially after this video that we had, the discussion, I want to see what it is that they do. Oh, so what we're supposed to do with this sheet is, first thing we gotta ask kids is make sure their name goes on the top. Once their name goes on the top, they're going to go ahead and they can either start coloring now, or I would prefer if they go ahead and cut this size right here. Once they have cut this side, and then go individually cut every single line. And once they have that, they can go ahead and label the ones that they know. And then this is actually going to be done within the group setting. You know, they can come to me and ask for help. We can talk about it, discuss, ask them why do they think it's a rectangle, why do they think it's a star, before we move into our ticket exit. So for an assessment or a conclusion to what they have learned, they're going to take their worksheet that was given to them, that they worked in within the group, and they're going to go ahead and actually cut each little square once they have labeled them, and they're going to take those squares and they're going to take them into the cardboard paper. And they're just not, you know, they're going to glue them up here. They already have the names, like you see, like it's a triangle. If they got them correct or not, they're just going to go ahead and put it on. But they're not just doing something that's already been printed for them. They're also going to go next to it and draw an actual picture. Like take a crayon, marker, anything that they're using, and go ahead and draw me one. And that's what's going to be their ticket exit. Because they're going to show me that they just don't know. They don't only know the names because we have shown them. They actually have the knowledge to, if they see them out in the real world, they'll know what it is. And that's simple. It should be their exit tickets. Hopefully they got enough information from me to be able to put one and one together. We have to take in consideration that not all kids learn the same. Not all kids are the same. Not all students learn the same way. We have students that are gifted, and just because they're gifted does not mean we have to give them double, triple, quadruple the amount of work. We just have to take, for example, we will take the same assignment, you know, and depending on the level of the child, they will not just have triangles. They can go and pick the harder shapes like octagon, hexagon, and then, you know, their drawing will be more detailed. As an example of, you know, you take a kid that has some type of special need, where they're not able to hold a scissor correctly. You know, they have problems with them. They can't hold the pencil. We would not make them draw. You know, we can pre-draw the shape for them. For example, like they will not have to do the drawing themselves because we know they cannot do that. We can already have the shapes color for them, you know, cut out, and even they can be in color already. They do not have to be for them to be doing. So we can have pre-cut up assignments. We can help them, you know, accommodate. If we do have kids that English is not their first language, this paper can come in many languages. You know, it does not have to be just English. We can start it in English, or we can say the lesson in English, but when they actually go to their desk, this could be in Spanish, it can be in Hebrew, it could be in any other language. We just gotta make sure that we're inclusive to all of them, and we help them all achieve the success that we know they can. Well, in conclusion, again, my name is Mrs. Garcia, and my lesson plan was gathered towards first graders and learning some 2D geometric shapes. And I hope that they are based on this lesson plan, they will be able to go and make connections in the real world. If they see a shape out there, they're going to be able to name it. They'll be able to tell me how many sides it has, what does it consist. Have a conversation, with whether their parents, someone in the playground, about what it is that they're learning. Thank you.